How y'all doing? I'm working on the 25 Chrysler, uh, and it is cold out here right now, and the wind is blowing, but hey, got to get it done. Let me give you a look-see and show you what I'm doing. All right, I've gotten the running boards off of it, and of course, you know, they're all wood and they're completely shot, of course. And this was one of the supports that went like right in here, along there, and the car sat on it. And this is what I'm working on now, is getting ready to make these supports. But the sheet metal here went along here. You can see I haven't taken that one off yet. You can see that it's like a rocker, and the whole top of that one's gone. The other one's in the other room. I'll show you that in a minute. But I had to take that off, and of course, that has to be put on first, all the way up here. And then once I get the rockers on, then I can start putting the wood on. But the wood sandwiches the rockers. So, and I've got a lot of wood cut. I took all this and copied it. And this is basically, it didn't cut exactly to fit just yet. It's pretty much just the stock lumber that is cut to the right width and thickness. So I can start working with all this. And I've got all of what you see up here pre-cut. So all I have to do is do the ends, and I'm sure I'm going to have to fiddle with it a little bit. So it's almost like a wood kit, you know, that's supposed to just bolt right in. Not a chance. And I haven't gotten over here, and I got to get over here and remove all this. So it looks like that in order to fix it. Seems like you got to start from the beginning to get anywhere. And you can see that's pretty bad. It's rotted. So I thought I could just sort of put a little cap on it, but shoot, that's a 5-foot weld on thin rotted sheet metal, and nah, it would just, I could be there for days and it still look like who knows what. But let me show you how I'm bending my sheet metal to make this work. Let's go over on the other side here where I've got a little more room. There's the 34 Chevy truck I'm working on. And I've got videos of that as I go along. And once I get the truck almost done, then I'll put them on. But for right now, it's just in limbo. I had to I couldn't put tires on the back because I didn't have the distance up here on the roof. So it was I said, oops, I almost got ready to jack it up, put tires on it. Then I noticed it was going to hit the roof, and I said, oh man, I'm glad I stopped when I did. Or I'd have jacked it right through the roof. But this is how I'm bending the sheet metal. I've already got one side done. This is just it was a 4x8 piece of sheet metal I had. And so this is the one I took off right here. So this is what I'm copying. And, you know, there's the bend. And you can see it's just rotted to death. But this is the sheet metal I had. And, of course, it's just a little bit thicker gauge. But I think it's 10 thousandths thicker than this. But it's going to work. You can probably just see the outline of this over here because I laid it down flat and then copied it, traced it, and then I bent it. And I don't have a brake that can do this, and I don't really have the room to set up some kind of bench, so I'll just do it on the floor. So what I did, took a piece of an exhaust pipe that has got the right radius on the pipe for the turn. And I measured everything out here So this is the distance from here to here is the same distance from here to here, what I've traced out. And then I screwed the pipe to the floor. You can see the deck screws in it. And then I screwed the sheet metal to the floor also. And I just put a 2x4 on it, on the back side of the pipe, because the pipe has a tendency to bow in the middle. So when you're going to bend it, it wants to push that pipe out in the middle. So this 2x4 will help it. And it's awkward, and it's crude at best, but this is what I have to work with, and this is my solution for this problem. And so, you know, here we are. So now I get to, I mean, that one bent, and it's okay. So this one, I just got to grab it and then lift it up and then come around and start smacking it with that hammer over there on the back side, just to sort of make sure it stays against the pipe. So this is where we are here. So if you want to bend something and you're scratching your head, I hope this helps you a little bit. You'd be surprised what you can do with a piece of wood and an exhaust pipe, if you got the floor that you could put screws in. And since the wax job on this floor is long since gone, yeah, I'll put a screw in it, no problem. All right, so here we are. The wind is, you can't see anything out there, but the wind is really blowing good. Sticks are falling out of the trees and every daggone thing else. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you before I got too far down the road. I've got projects everywhere you look is a project. But so I like to get the Chrysler done and this thing finished. So this and the Chrysler, if I can get it done by spring, that would be good. We'll see. We'll see how that works. This thing looks horrible, and it looks like it's going to take me years to get it done. We'll see. Because I haven't even tried to do any mechanical work to it or anything. I figured I'll get the wood done, and the mechanics and electrics shouldn't be, I'm hoping, shouldn't be that big of a deal. But boy, you really got to take stuff apart, you know, before you go forwards with it. Man, this wood was some kind of rotted. Oh, one of the things that was pretty cool, I found this under, this is what they patched the running board with. Capital Motor Oil. This was a can. I think it was a 1 gallon can that they cut and unfolded. I think it was, the crease was right through there. I looked it up on eBay, and I actually found a can. So that's what that is. That was a can, and this was like that under the floor in the front here. So that was under that and under there like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was under the car and I looked up through the cracks and I said, what the hell? They used a sign of some kind. So I couldn't find a year on this, but I would imagine it's something back in the 70s or back in that area. But I thought that was pretty neat. You never know what you're going to find. You can see there's still a piece of the running board material on it. Instead of using wood, they just shoved a piece of metal in there. So that's pretty cool. All right, so this is where we are. Put that back up in cold storage. And yeah, this is, yeah, you can see I got that's the front seat right there, upside down. There's the doors and back and bottom of the seat. So I've got to do woodworking here on the tops. Boy, it's it's going to look like a horrible mess long before it looks like a vehicle again. I really hated to take it apart this far, but you know, because it's, once you take them apart, you really got to pay attention when you put them back together to keep them straight, and got to get the width right, and there's a lot of variables in here. But I'm hoping that all these braces that I have right here, all the braces are good, and I have a lot of the holes, original holes where it was screwed in here, and this is the part where the board is set on for the very base. So I'm hoping the braces will help me line everything up. And of course, it's got a bow here. There's a little bow to it, to the brace that goes on here, so it's not a straight shot. And I didn't have any wood for it, and there's nothing special about the wood. I don't even think they used, I don't even think this was oak. I'm not sure what kind of wood it was, but it rotted like a dickens. So it's not really a hardwood, because even at a good place, I can push a screwdriver into it without too much grief. So what I did is I went and got me 2 2x4 pressure treated 2x4s, and that's good enough for the stock material. So I can do both pieces with 2x4s. Now the 2x4s I got are pressure treated, of course, but you know, you can get 2x4s that are soft and 2x4s that are hard. It's a different kind of pine. One I think might be longleaf, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but some of the stuff is just super, no weight to it. You could probably step on it and break it. So it wouldn't be good if you got the wrong kind of wood to make this out of. But the 2x4s I got, I think they're longleaf pine, which is good enough. You could step in the middle of them and they're just springy. But they were soaking wet. I got them like 5 days ago, and and of course they were straight as an arrow. I couldn't even find any crooked ones. So I had to put a bend in them, because there's no way to bend them without stressing the daylights out of them. So this is what I did. Chalked them up right here on the floor. And it's been sitting for about 5 days now. Of course, it took everything I had to bend them. And I guess I got about a 3-inch bend to them. And once I get the sheet metal on, I'm going to take them out, because I've been running the kerosene heater and blowing at it to dry it out. And it's drying out pretty good. So once it dries out, it will hold some of that shape. I know it's going to be springy as hell when I take it off, but any kind of bow is better than a complete straight piece of wood. It just makes the wood a little more relaxed when you get ready to try to make it fit. So, but it took a lot of weight. I got an anvil, a bunch of lead bricks, battery, 2 cinder blocks, and then I stuck my roll-around jack on top, and that put it right on the floor. But it took all that just to put it on the floor. See, those boards are stiff. That's pretty hard wood, so they will work fine. You know, I'm sure anybody that, you know, gets into these cars and starts building them, they would probably, well, 2x4. Nobody uses a 2x4. Well, I'm using a 2x4. That's just the way it is. It works for me, and I'm comfortable with it. It would always be nice if I could get something exotic wood to use here, but this is not an exotic wood car. This is going to be a beater that drives down the road. So it'll hold together. That's the only pieces of 2x4 pressure treated I'm going to use are the 2 bottom pieces. Everything else here is actually marine wood, because I work at a boatyard. So this is teak, pieces of teak, and this is mahogany, and I think everything else that I've cut is out of mahogany, and I think I got some cedar here. That's a piece of cedar, and of course this is oak. So I've got a mixture of woods. Yeah, there's some more in this piece of teak right there. So, you know, it seems crazy to use this kind of exotic wood on this, but, you know, this is the kind of wood that I have laying around. So this is what's getting used. So this is everything that's like above the floor, like the pieces that go across the back and the parts of the seat and things like that. So, you know, I think it's going to be okay. Still a lot of fitting and stuff to do and a lot of measuring. So I really have to be careful, and I've taken a lot of videos on this to try to show me how I took it apart. A lot of still shots, and this is one of the reasons I take these videos, is because I can look back on the video and I can see how something's done. So it helps me put it back together just by going back at the video and look at them. So it's, even though I think people might want to look at something like this, it's basically done for me to put the turd back together. So this is where we are. All right. So until I get the sheet metal cut and started to put on, then I'll give you all another look-see at this thing. And we'll see just how it's going to come out. I'm hoping that I could take this new sheet metal and do something with it to make it look like it's old and hasn't been fixed, because I couldn't just leave those big holes in it, but I really didn't want to put new metal anywhere that you could see. So I'm hoping that I can scribble some paint on it. I've been fooling around with some paint with a rag and, you know, spraying it and then taking a rag and wiping the paint off and then spraying it again to give it a sort of a messed up texture. So it's, you know, I have to see how all this is going to work out. You know, if it looks like I patched something and fixed something and it looks better than the rest of the car, it surely wasn't done purposely, because I like the old look. Looks like it's never been touched. But we'll have to see how it's going to come out. Maybe I'll get lucky and I can make it look ugly. I don't know. But, oh well. I'll see you all later when I've got something else done. All right. Bye now.